When people look at old women like me, they see wrinkles, white hair, slow steps. What they don't see is how much pain a person can survive and still choose kindness. A few months after my husband Harold passed away, I started taking the bus alone. I hated it. Not because of the crowds, but because loneliness feels louder in public. That day, I was sitting quietly at the bus stop, holding my grocery bag in my lap, trying not to think about how empty my house felt without Harold. Then suddenly, something smacked against the side of my head. A crumpled soda can rolled onto the sidewalk. Behind me, a group of teenage boys exploded into laughter. It was so funny. You should have seen his face. He was actually crying. One of them looked directly at me and grinned. "Excuse me, grayhead. Don't you have something to say?" The others laughed harder. Another boy leaned forward dramatically. "Come on, man. Apologize." She almost croaked. I could feel people nearby watching, but nobody said a word. I tried to ignore them. At my age, you learn that arguing with cruel people only feeds them. But the insults kept coming. "Shouldn't you be at home cooking for some old fart? With a face like that, nobody would be caught dead with you." That one hurt more than I expected. Before I could stop myself, I whispered, "I actually just lost my husband." For half a second there was silence. Then one boy snorted. "Well, maybe mall security found him drinking prune juice somewhere." The group burst into laughter again. I felt tears burning behind my eyes. Not because children were mocking me, but because grief already makes you feel invisible. And in that moment, they made me feel worthless too. Then I noticed one boy standing slightly behind the others. Tall, messy hair, angry eyes. He laughed with them, but not fully. Like part of him didn't belong there. That boy was Carter. At the time I thought he was just another rude teenager. I had no idea he was about to change my life. A week later, someone knocked on my front door. When I opened it, my heart nearly stopped. Standing there was Carter. Beside him stood his mother, Lynn, smiling warmly while holding a small welcome basket. "Hi," she said kindly. "We're your new neighbors." Carter instantly recognized me. I could see the panic on his face. He looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him whole. But I simply smiled and invited them inside for tea. His mother talked the entire time. Sweet woman. Clearly exhausted. Single parents carry a tiredness you can see in their eyes. Eventually she sighed and said, "Carter's been struggling in school lately. I barely have time to help him with homework." I glanced at Carter. He stared at the floor like he'd rather be anywhere else on earth. Now, most people probably would have told them to leave after what happened at the bus stop. But grief changes you. After losing Harold, I understood something important. Hurt people often hurt other people. So instead of shutting the door on that boy, I offered to tutor him. Carter looked absolutely horrified. The very next afternoon, he showed up at my house with an attitude bigger than the moon. The second his mother drove away, he crossed his arms. "Look," he snapped. "I'm only here because my mom forced me." Then he stepped closer and lowered his voice. "And if you think I owe you something for not snitching about the bus stop, Carter." I said his name firmly enough to stop him cold. "You may act like a bully outside, but inside my home you will show respect." For the first time since meeting him, the boy went silent. Reluctantly, he agreed to behave. Though behave might be too generous. He complained constantly, rolled his eyes every 5 seconds, acted like homework was a war crime. But after years of teaching children, I recognized something familiar in him. Anger. Not spoiled anger. Abandoned anger. One afternoon while we were studying, I casually asked about his father. The room changed instantly. Carter's entire body stiffened. "He's gone," he muttered. "And he's never coming back." The pain in his voice caught me off guard. I wanted to apologize, but something told me apologies weren't what this boy needed. He needed someone willing to stay. So instead, the next day I tried something different. I pulled out one of Harold's old comic books. Carter's eyes widened immediately. "Wait, this is original?" I almost laughed. That was the most excitement I'd ever seen from him. My husband had collected comics since childhood. Hundreds of them. After Harold died, I couldn't even open those boxes without crying. But somehow, Watching Carter hold them made the memories hurt less. That comic changed everything. Suddenly Carter wanted to read, wanted to write, wanted to stay longer after lessons. We'd spend hours arguing about superheroes and endings. Sometimes he'd laugh so hard he forgot to act tough. And slowly, the angry boy from the bus stop disappeared. One evening after dinner, I caught him helping me carry groceries without being asked. Another day, he fixed my broken porch light. Then one afternoon, while leaving, he stopped awkwardly at the front door and asked, "Do you maybe want to watch the movie version with me next week?" That tiny question nearly broke my heart, because it wasn't really about the movie. It was a lonely child asking if someone wanted to spend time with him. And honestly, I think I needed that too. A few days later, we were walking home together when we passed the same boys from the bus stop. One of them laughed immediately. "Well, look who it is. The old hag." Another elbowed Carter. "What happened to you, man?" The old Carter would have laughed, maybe even joined in. Instead, Carter stepped in front of me. His voice was calm, but firm. "Leave her alone." The boys blinked in confusion. Then one scoffed. "What, you hanging out with old people now?" Carter looked them dead in the eyes. And I swear I will never forget what he said next. "She's more family to me than any of you." The boys went silent. And so did I. Because in that moment, I realized something. People talk about how kindness changes the world. But they never talk about how kindness changes people. One lonely old widow. One angry little boy. Both grieving something they couldn't fix alone. And somehow, we saved each other.